Hello everyone, myself Sowmya, Assistant Professor in CSE AIML Department, MLR Institute of Technology. So in this video, we are going to discuss about Flask templates and static files. So coming to the overview of this presentation, Flask templates, how to render the external HTML files into the Flask file and different delimiters, and how to embed the Python statements in the HTML, and how to use the static files in HTML, and we will also see some example applications. So coming to the Flask templates. So the server is generating the response whenever the client is requesting. For of course, the server is generating again the response in the HTML file only. So the client is requesting the server. Again, the server is sending the response, but this response will be generated and displayed in the form of HTML only. So the server is going to use this HTML template. So how to use that? Like how the server is going to use that we are going to discuss here. So that is about Flask template. So now here in this program, you're simply including or embedding some HTML tags within the Python application itself. So this we know. For this route, this viewing function will be executed, that is message. And now at what it is returning? It is returning simply hi, welcome to the website. But I want to include some HTML tags here. So HTML body, I'm using h1 tag. So within this h1 tag, this message will be displayed. And this we know, this is common for all applications and it's not mandatory. So now if I execute this application, I'll simply get this. So this is like a normal Python or Flask application only. But here what we are doing, we are including some HTML tags within this return statement. So this is simple only. So how to render the external HTML file. So now in this program, we have included some HTML tags, that's fine. But now if I want to include or if I want to use some external HTML files in the Flask application, then how to do that? So that is nothing but rendering the external HTML files. So we know if we have any external HTML files, we need to store that external HTML files in a folder called templates. So within your new folder, first you need to create a templates folder, and in that templates folder only you need to save all your HTML files. Now, if I want to include that HTML file inside the Flask app, how to do that? So this is the example application here. This is message1.html. Here a normal simple web application which will print headings, different headings. Hi, welcome to the website with h1, h2, h3, h4, h5. That's all. This is message1.html. And now coming to the Python application. So here for this route, you are executing a view function message. So what this message is doing, it is using a method called render_template. So using this method render_template, it can use the external HTML file. So it is directly returning this message1.html as the output. So it is directly using the message1.html. It will render the content of that HTML file as the output. What is this message1.html? Actually, just now we have written the code. It is displaying different headings. So this is the output I will get if I execute this Python application. Of course, here in this program also we have HTML file and we have Python file, but it's not front end here. In the previous video, we have seen HTML as a front end and Python as a back end. Of course, here also Python is back end, but HTML is not a front end here. Python is displaying the output inside this HTML. So the HTML file, it is displaying as a output. So try to execute this. Here I need to execute the Python application only. That HTML, it's not front end, that's why I'm not executing it. That will be used by the Python program itself. Python programming is so message1.html, but before that message1.html, I need to save it in templates folder. So this is message1.html. that I'm saving in a folder called templates. So templates is available within new folder .html, but I don't need to execute it. But after this script 1, I need to execute it. But before that, I should save this file within new folder with the extension py. So just execute your Python application in the command prompt. First activate your scripts. Now execute your application. Set Flask underscore app is equal to your application name is script1.py. Next, run your application. Then it is generating the IP. Just copy this IP and paste it in any browser. You are getting the output. 5 different types of headings. Actually, in the Python code, you are not writing all these. What Python file is doing, it is rendering the outside template, outside HTML file, it is using as the output. So to use that outside file, you are using render underscore template. So next, the delimiters. So using this delimiters, we can actually use some Python codes, Python statements inside the HTML. So we know this client is requesting the server. So while requesting the server, it will send some data, but the server is generating the response again in the form of HTML only. So HTML of course only for displaying, but the server while generating the result, it may need some Python statements for execution purpose or for calculation purpose. It may need some Python statements. So in this HTML, can I include Python statement? If I can include, how to include that? So that can be solved using this delimiters. So here, this syntax is used for statements. If you have a Python statement directly, you can use them within this symbols. So here in between this, you can write any Python statement. And if you have any expressions, Python expressions in the sense you need to solve them, calculation purpose, then you can use this braces. So within this braces, you can write any expression and that expression will be solved. You're going to use all these delimiters within the HTML file, and these two are used for the commenting purpose. Coming to the example, here a simple example. So what we are doing here within this HTML file, I'm just displaying a heading hi, comma, hello. But this hello, it is actually a Python statement. Why I'm saying it's a Python statement? Why? Because I'm using this braces. So within this braces, what I'm doing, I'm simply writing hello. So if I write the symbols, that indicates the expression. So that means hello will be printed. So it will be considered as a print statement. So hi comma hello will be printed. But when this hi comma hello will be printed, this is the Python application here. So this is the root. For this root, the viewing function is message. What this message is doing, it is doing render underscore template. What it is rendering, what is the external HTML file it is using? message2.html. So that is this file. So if I execute script2.python file, what I will get? I will get this output hi comma hello. Hi is generated by HTML code, whereas hello is generated by the Python code. Try to execute this. So this is message2 HTML file. I need to save it in templates folder. And after that, script2, which is rendering message2.html for the URL /user. You need to save this file within the new folder itself. So for this also HTML, it's not a rendered, so you don't need to execute that. To display the output, the Python file is using the HTML. So I am executing this Python file, script2.py. I am running it. So I am getting this URL, but direct URL will not work. I have given the root as /user. So give the URL followed by /user. What I'm getting hi comma hello. So hi is generated by HTML, whereas hello is generated by the Python code. So embedding the Python statement in HTML. So that's what we discussed just now, delimiters. Using those delimiters, you can include the Python statements within the HTML file. So now we are going to discuss about another application where I'm using Python statements inside the HTML file. So here I'm going to print a table, multiplication table. So for that purpose, within the body, I'm writing an heading. What is this heading? Printing table of, within the symbol I'm writing n. What is the symbol indicates? Actually the symbol indicates for expression. So whatever the n value is there, that will be replaced here. If the n value is 10, 10 will be placed here. If the n value is 12, 12 will be placed here. So here I am going to calculate, or I am going to display the multiplication table of this number n. So now I am using another symbol here, opening parenthesis, percentile. So this is for statements, Python statement. So what is a Python statement I am writing here? For I in range of 1, 11. So from 1 to 10, I am taking a loop here, I value from 1 to 10. Then I am closing it. And then I am writing H3 heading. Here I am printing the multiplication table. How to print the table? N into I is equal to n into I. All these are expressions. How to represent the expressions again? Using these symbols. So n into I is equal to n into I. I am closing it. So that's all. I am closing the for loop and end for. I am closing the for loop using end for, and this is also statement, so that's why I am using this symbol again. So if you are using any expression, you should use this symbol. If it is a statement, you should use this symbols. So that's all. I am closing it. So now, when this HTML file will be executed and who will send this n value? So that we will see in the Python. So this is a Python file. Here, while setting the root, what is the root here? The root is taking slash table followed by slash a number, integer number. So this is the integer number you're going to pass to that HTML file. So the same number will be sent as a parameter to the table method. So what this table method is doing, it is render underscore template. It is calling the HTML file. It is including the HTML file. What is that HTML file name? Print underscore table.html. But what that file needs, it needs n value. So in this program, we have used n value, but which is unknown value. So that should be passed by the Python file. So that n is equal to the number. So whatever the number is there, that I am passing, and there it will work as a variable called n. So in this way, you can use the render underscore template. So render underscore template, actually it will take two parameters. The first parameter is the name of the file, and the second parameter, if you want to send any information or any variable value to that HTML file, you can send them. But it is optional. If you want to send, then only you can send. If you don't need, you can ignore that. So the file, HTML file you are calling, but while calling, you are also sending this number. So whatever the number the user is sending in the URL, the same number, for the same number, the multiplication table will be calculated. So this is the output I will get. I need to execute the Python file again. I don't need to execute the HTML. Why? Because HTML is not a front end here. The Python using HTML as a output file. So now if I call this URL slash table slash number 10, I am getting the table of 10. If I pass 12 in place of 10, I will get the table of 12. So we'll try to execute it. So this is the Python file. So we need to save this Python file in the new folder only with the extension .py, and we need print underscore table also. So it is printing the multiplication table, and this is a HTML file, so I need to save it in templates folder. Now I need to execute this script 3 Python file. Now it is generating the IP, but along with this IP, what I should pass? Slash table slash integer number. Slash table slash I'm passing 12, so I'm getting the table of 12. If I pass 20, I will get the table of 20. So whatever the number you are passing in the URL, the same number will be transferred to the method, and that method, it is again sending that number to the HTML file, print underscore table.html file, by using the render underscore template method. And next is referring static files in HTML. So in the previous program, we used some Python statements in the HTML file. Now, if I want to use any external files like CSS file or .js file, JavaScript files inside my HTML, then where to save that file, how to use them. So that can be solved here. We need to create a static folder inside your new folder. So already we have created a folder called new. We have created another folder called templates to store your HTML files. And now I'm saving one more folder. I'm creating one more folder called static. There I'm going to create some CSS files or .js files. So if you have any files, such files like this, you need to create a folder called static. Now this is a simple example for HTML file. So inside the HTML file, I want to use some external CSS. So we know to include the external CSS, we have this link tag. So within the header section, link, relation name is style sheet, you can give any name, and href, where this file is available. So previously in the HTML or JavaScript, we used to give href is equal to the path where it is available, where the .css file is available, whether in C drive, D drive, or where it is available, you should give that path. But now here in Python, href is equal to, it is actually available in a folder called static, right? We should create a static folder. So static folder, inside static folder, again I'm creating one more folder called CSS. Why? Because the static folder contains any static information. That may be CSS file, that may be JavaScript file, that may be anything. So to indicate that within the static file, again I'm creating a subfolder called CSS. Why? Because it is containing CSS files. And this CSS, in this CSS, I'm writing a style sheet called style.css. So what is the style.css? We will see now. So URL underscore for, using this method, you can build the URL, how you're building. So this is the main folder. Static is the main folder. Under this we have CSS. Under this we have style.css. So in this way the URL will be built here. So what it is actually, it's a Python statement. So if it is a Python statement, you need to write within this braces. So href I'm giving like this, and the remaining thing is same. Within the h1 tag, I am writing a message, hi, welcome to the website. This is HTML file. So who will call this HTML file? The Python will call the HTML file. And we need to know what the style.css is containing. So this is the Python script. So for this URL, the message method will be executed. So this method, you're just calling HTML file. What is that HTML file? Message4.html, using the method render underscore template. You're calling this method. Now what is that CSS file? So style.css is containing this content. Body, the background color is blue. For h1, the color is red. For p, the color is red. But in our HTML program, we used only h1 and the body. So this is the output I'll get. Background I'm getting as blue, and for the paragraph or for h1 you're getting red color. So now we will try to execute this. We will see where we need to save this CSS file. So we need message4.html. So I need to save this HTML file within the templates folder. And coming to the Python file, I should save it in new folder only, script4.python. Now I need to save the CSS file also. So this CSS file, I need to save it in new folder. Within new folder, create another folder called static. Again, the static is containing a folder called CSS, and in the CSS, you're going to save this style.css. The extension is .css here. Now, which file I need to execute here? Again, the Python. So Python is using HTML to show the output. So I'm getting this. So if I paste this See, I'm getting this output. The background color is blue here, and we have the heading as red color. So that is about using external HTML files to show the output by the server. So in this video, we have discussed about what is meant by Flask template, how to render the external HTML files. We have seen how to include the HTML tags inside the Flask application and how to use the external files and how to send the data to the external files. And if you have any static files, how to create that static file, how to use them, like style sheets we have seen with the example applications in this video. Thank you.